What if you could stop getting stuck in the same old patterns? Let's talk about it. Thank you for joining us. This is the ZoliArt Montana podcast. My name is Linda, here with Zoli Althea Brown. Now, Zoli, why do we fail to notice the cycles that we are in?
Well, as you said that, I was getting stuck in my same old pattern of worry. Why do I do that? You know, I'm coming back to that same thing, that interaction I had with the Mantis people that said they have no past. They're constantly moving forward. And they said our present doesn't really exist. It is a combination of our past and our future. I kind of get that. I don't expect to really get it. But I think that's what it is. We regurgitate this stuff trying to fix it. But if our present theorizing really is a combination of the past and the future, we're moving forward and thinking about what we're going to do, what could happen, and bringing behind us the lessons or things we need to get rid of. I just think it's human nature. For me, I need to lighten up some with it, if I can. But right now, you guys go through this. I'm going through a very difficult, heavy time where I feel oppression upon me. It's coming from external forces. It is telling me that the past, the bringing it back and back and back into myself, I need to stop it because that piece is no longer working for me. So it's very heavy. And we learn to do it, to quit doing it by doing it so much it makes us crazy. And we're all alike. We all do that, some more than others. Now, people in the artsy-fartsy world like me, as opposed to people in my husband's world, the military, the law enforcement, rather clearer thinkers. Most women, I don't think, are real clear thinkers like that because they go to objectivity. Y'all can get on me about that. I know of a certain group of people that will, but I hold my own with that. So we bring it forward because I think we're recreating it in a certain way. I don't think we can stop. Since talking to those Mantis people, they said, look, you guys, your brain is what time is. It lives in your brain. It's an agreement. It's a Saturnian agreement. Saturn, the keepers of time, Saturn's law enforcement, military, time, structure. It's the four corners. It gives structure to things. So as artists, musicians, whatever, you need to bring structure to your creativity. Otherwise, there's nothing there. It's just a jumbled mess. I think that's what we're doing. Does any of that make sense?
Yeah, it really does, because it seems like those structures are what help us when we're stagnating, and they kind of help us to notice and get back on track at times.
Yeah, and the getting stuck might be part of it, to notice the feeling. What is the feeling that I have when I get stuck in it? Sometimes you can't do a damn thing about it. It's just what it is. It's like the room full of 6-year-olds. You're having a party. It's not going to be quiet unless you have duct tape over their mouth. There's an idea. But that's not going to work, for many reasons. So we have to endure the highs and the lows, the things to the side, the things below it, the things we don't see. I don't think it's going to change. Ever since I communicated with those Mantis beings who are so far, I feel like a bug under a glass that they're observing, but they're not that. They're so kind, so loving, so gentle. To say, as a human being, part of your agreement is you'll have a brain that will give you time, and it can drive you crazy or it can be comforting, all of the above. So I've been thinking about that a lot lately. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. There's a lot to think about in that. And if just by noticing it, we do better to adjust or be more in sync with the cycles.
Oh, there it is, noticing it. And he did speak about that. As he was saying, there is no real stay in the present because it changed. It's different now. The present's different than when we were here. But he said you can be aware. It's a kindness and it's a love. It's an addiction to love, an addiction to higher power. That's a good addiction. It's a feeling of, I want to connect. I want to be more, because we spend our whole lifetime wanting to do that in many ways. We can't do this by ourselves. We're not supposed to. So by giving the structure, it'll give us ways, I think, to reach a higher power, I hope.
And it seems like you need a certain level of calmness to even be aware or to notice. So how can people find that calm instead of staying in their worries or panic mode?
Oh, for me, it's a habit. And some people will do it rather than other people. Oftentimes, if there's some call for it, that we have a child that needs us to be like that, or we're working a job, or it's a critical situation, we'll buck up and do it. That is the voice in the wilderness saying, this is the time to get it together. I certainly know those times. And I also know the times when I didn't, and the consequences of not doing it. Why can we not be kinder to ourselves? These days, I wake up in the morning and I go, I'm gonna take the benefit of communication with that mantis being to realize how kind they are. Now, that said, the masters of wisdom, the Master Jesus, Kutumi, Moria, all of them, these are pacifists. These are powerful guys that will mess up a situation to fix it. They do not say, higher power doesn't say, sit and everything will be okay. It won't. It won't. We have to act. So maybe we bring the past forward into our life to get ideas of what we did. As they say, if there are damaging, awful things in the world, it needs to be fixed. And it may be done violently. It may be done with war. It may be done with explosions. That's unfortunate in many ways. But they also say that the death of the body, that's just getting rid of forms, because you'll be back. None of these physical bodies don't want to believe that. So it's a very complicated issue. There are just no answers to a lot of this stuff. But I think talking about it and sharing it, we have a community of like-minded others. We have a community of souls. The revelations that are happening now, I think, is what people are saying, oh, there's so much change. There is so much coming true. Now, why is that? Because it's time for it. We have evolved enough. If AI is going to ruin your life and take over the world, we need to be responsible. We created that. Well, with, alien help, AI, alien intelligence, but we allowed it in. This is a free will planet. You can't just do what you want. Even the demonic has to go by the rules. So in a way, there really are no victims in that sense. That's my opinion.
And it makes sense that it's all part of the process. Our individual, small and seemingly insignificant part is really just a tiny piece of the grander vision.
Yeah, it's really a dichotomy because everything matters. There are times that the masters say that those who sit and wait also serve, and that is true. So and I go through these times, my God, I'm kind of in it now. Does any of this matter? That theoretical, metaphysical, I'm waiting for Godot, who knows? But we do that when we're what? Impatient. We can see the future, what it can be, maybe picking up on it, and it's not now. Why? Because so much has to come into play. I think everything matters. Karmically, for sure, everything matters. All thoughts will seek form. Any interaction that we have, the trance medium that trained me, Earl Janik, back when I was running the Center of Melchizedek in Nashville in 1970s, for God's sake, I'm so old, But he said, do only what you must with your fellow man. Oh, wow. We didn't have social media back then, didn't. But what he's saying is everything we do causes karma. Karma is good and bad and ugly and exquisite. It's all things. It's that everything seeks form and it seeks creation. So in that sense, everything does matter. Moving through space and time, we affect things. My life, I spend most of my time. I just had this big argument with the fairies in my house. Oh my God. Did that matter? What good did that do? I have this little museum in my house. It used to be my office. It's called the Cabinet of Curiosities. It's filled with all kind of stuff. And it's fun and it's hysterical and it could scare you to death or you can laugh at it, either or. The fairies that live in there for a year would not let me come in and dust and clean and wash everything off. They didn't want me to touch it. Now, I could have done it, but I have respect for these guys. I see them. I know who they are. The house fairy we have, Celeste, she's about, I don't know, maybe a little under 3 feet tall. She's very sweet, very kind. She's more intelligent. So my husband went on a 3-week contract. He was going to be gone for 3 weeks. I thought, okay, maybe this will help. So when he's getting ready to go, I see a bunch of them were going to go with him. These are little suitcases. I swear, I'm telling you, it was adorable. And they were going to go because he was going to need their help and they just wanted to go and see things. So they went with this and that. And as soon as they left, the energy was different in there. It was quiet. It was so quiet. Aha. I spent an entire week in there cleaning everything, giving away books and stuff that just didn't matter after 10 years. It was crazy. And it felt cleaner and better and nicer and lighter. So, husband returns, the little group of fairies return. Argument, oh my God. But let them be in there, let them do their thing. Celeste was very calming to them, and they're fine with it. Some of them left. They didn't want to be in there anymore. That's fine. Their world is different than ours. But this is my world, and these are my interactions. It is batshit crazy. There's nothing logical about it. There's nothing objective. It's all intuitive, subjectivity, the inner senses. It's crazy, but I was born knowing how to do this. It's just what I do. That said, we have to have structure in that too. We have to have structure in all things. But other beings, their structures will be different than ours. They don't have the thought process like we do. They don't come from God, go into the physical, and return to God. They are from the physical. They're here. They're involutionary. They're the physical world. So we do have to work with that. The different seasons are affected by that. Do you have to know about it? No, you don't. You don't. But when you're outside and you smell a breeze, a scent come in on a breeze, that's from the devas. And that's a gift for you. That's a kiss of love and affection for you. So we can live in the real world, so to speak. And many people have no sense of this at all. They came in here to be the scientist. Now, not all scientists don't have intuition. I'm not saying that. But don't get frustrated with them, all the woo-woo people, new agey people. Winston Churchill was a 4th degree initiate. He had no idea of any of this. You don't have to, so stay in our lane. Each of us stay in our lane. How did I get off on that? What were we talking about?
Well, it all fits. And we're talking about cycles. And the story about the fairies is such a beautiful reminder that we really, often when we're getting stuck, it's because we don't want the certain part of the cycle we're currently in. We want the harvest, but we're not ready for the plant to grow. We really fight, especially like what you emphasized when it comes to periods of rest or periods of waiting. We want to rush things and we want it to be on our time.
Oh, you just hit on it. See, that's beautiful. The Ecclesiastes, to everything there's a season and a time and purpose unto heaven. I guilted myself because for a year I'm like, I really should clean this place in here. I need to do something other than vacuum. I felt guilty, but I knew the dense energy in that place, I could not do it. So sometimes maybe consider there's a reason why you're not doing something that we should ourselves into. There's a kindness and a beauty with that. And I think people are pretty good at it. You really are good at it. And then women, we will second guess ourselves. How many times a day can we apologize? For God's sake. It's insane. You ran over my toe with your cart. Oh, I'm so sorry. You ran over my toe and I'm sorry. But women, we do this, and you have to pay attention to this. We do this to calm things, to get along. Think about what Jesus says, agree with your enemy immediately. The reason, it doesn't mean exactly that. Don't take it literally. What it means is move past it and don't create an energy field. And boy, I can create those energy fields where the demonic and the icky ones can take it and use it to piss somebody else off or do some harm. We're just people. And if ZoliArt's about anything, it's for God's sake. You don't have to be a super person. You don't have to be a high intellect living in an ivory castle separate from reality. There are people, and that's their job. They're not happy, but they have to do that. They agreed to that. What is their karma? I don't know. I have no idea. But we have to stay in our lane. And my prayer is that with ZoliArt, with these talks that I do, the videos or the radio shows, that we can find a common ground. Because we have so much more in common. We really, really do. All the differences now, that will pass. It will pass in I'd call it almost a magical way. It's like a calm coming before the storm. It'll happen. We can't do a damn thing about it right now. We just can't. We have to go into the fight. Sometimes we do. There really are, to me, there are no answers to homelessness, to inequity. And I don't mean being a Robin Hood and kicking all the millionaires out of like Washington State. They're ridiculous. 38% of downtown is empty. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is universal kindness. After the day of declaration, when you see Maitreya, and then you see some of the masters, they're here now. But there are no answers yet. It's scheduled to be answered. How many things do we try to do to fix the homeless problem, the hunger problem? We reach a glass ceiling and we stop. The answer to every bit of this is, of course, sharing the world's resources, not what you have in your basement stored. It's universal sharing and kindness of countries. This is what is coming, and it's huge. But if we can be a little patient with ourselves and go, I don't have to solve all this. There are many of us who are very concerned and who don't like what's happening. But there are people before who didn't like what's happening. The point is, how can we live on a daily basis and see our life as sacred? How can I be my beloved and treat myself with more kindness when my mind is going into the past all the time? Well, you should have done that. You should have done this. But you can't. You just can't. And I don't know how to stop that. I don't think I have the skills to do that. I'm too artsy fartsy, or I don't know. I'm better at it than I was. But I think I'll take my last breath going, well, yesterday I should have eaten less of that. It's just things that are part of the human condition. Why in God's name can't we forgive ourselves for it? I don't know.
Yeah, that's one thing I wonder a lot, is why it's so difficult for us or to be comfortable being kind to ourselves or forgive ourselves.
Maybe it's because we're afraid other people will judge us. You know, if you have two, so give one away or save one for when you might need it more. But then we go into guilt over that. We're always having to make decisions about our welfare and the welfare of others. How much do you share? The reason why service is added to prayer and meditation is because when we're serving, we're doing our life work or our service. What's happening? You are drawing in the divine as you do that. As you go to the food bank and you give extra items, as you give, it comes through you to them. From him, through me, to them. That's why you feel so good. It's so sacred. And that doesn't mean you give away everything you have. It means being aware of what no longer holds a present in your life. To look around the house. When I was going through the cabinet of curiosity, I thought, why do I need that, or that? There's somebody else that's looking for them. Maybe they can get it at the donation place I go to. And we have great ones in Missoula. Montana's wonderful about it. It's wonderful. But we hold on to these emotions connected to stuff. Maitreya says, if somebody steals from you, say thank you. Ow. Ow. Well, I really like those earrings, but they took them. We all do this. Most of us work through it. You know, most of us do, but we don't have any answers to incarceration, to the two words that shouldn't go together, gun violence. You know, we have guns, we're not violent with them, but people who are mentally unstable. Do you think the stuff you see coming out of Hollywood stable? With these malignant narcissists dressed like God knows what? Why? That's not your role model. Your role model lives inside of you, and it is precious and it is sacred, and you are worth having to grieve the fact that you can't look like a Arnold Schwarzenegger or a Kardashian. They're getting old too. This is the dignity of not letting ourselves be lied to. But we're insecure. It's just human nature. So how can we treat our life as though it's the most sacred thing there is? Doing the laundry, that is a sacred thing. You need that for your household. My husband went out there the first time in spring and mowed all the lawn area. And he's a military, he's got 100% disability. That hurts him. But he did it because he wants to do that the first time because of his work ethic. So that's sacred. And people are sacred. And it doesn't mean to force ourselves and bully ourselves into doing things that we can no longer do. I can no longer, at age 73, I can no longer chase down a cow on a horse, run them into a pasture, then they jump over the fence, and Highland cows climbed over the fence. Can't do it anymore. So I have to go through a sense of debilitation of ego, of saying, I'm not that anymore. Who am I now? You have to grieve that. You will find as you age that you do have to grieve who you were, but then you invite in the dignity of who you are now. Older cultures, Japan, parts of China, they honor their old people. These are jewels because of the honoring and the wisdom. But the Western world will get there, but it's very young. But we don't have to be young in our mind like that. We need to grieve things on a daily basis because it means that we pull back and go, yeah, that kind of hurts, but that's not me. That's not my value system. Your daily life. I hope that's your value system, that you can find dignity in that. It won't be perfect. It's going to totally suck part of the time. I know that one. If I'm running around the house and I'm all irritated at something, God, because I didn't do something right or I have to do something. To me, it's always related to having to go to town to do something when I don't want to go through the effort. I want to be here. I like remote Montana. But that's life. We're not going to change it. How can we be kinder to ourselves? I'm working on it. I think the progress that I'm making is to catch myself when I'm not doing it. But then I might not know how to change it. But I think the first step is to catch ourselves. I go, that doesn't feel great. I'm doing that again. Awareness.
Yeah, there's so much natural joy in that, because it's that acceptance and awareness of self first, and then you're not always so down on yourself even. It's just that initial self-love that kind of shifts everything.
That initial self-love, that's precious, because to me, that's a spark. That's that love muffin that you give yourself. Give yourself a break. Give yourself a little love muffin. I sat today, I thought, wow, it's spring. I'll get on Amazon and I'll buy myself a $19 summer dress. I don't like it, I send it back. But that made me feel good. That was a material thing, and it made me feel good. There's nothing wrong with that. You can get into charging 50 or 60 dresses for thousands of dollars. You might be in trouble. You have to make your own choice. Make your own choice. Make your own decisions about your material world. But they don't have to be what you're told they have to be. That's huge. Every time we turn on a screen, we're told what we don't have and what we need. So that little divinity within ourselves is what can we do on a daily basis to go, I did a good job. I worked through
How can
something.
we adjust to that if we're not used to it, if our norm is more hard on ourselves, or we're raised in a different way?
I think most of us are like that. It's hard raising kids. Nobody does it right, and it's hard. You don't know what to do. There really are no books for it. But we're all okay. Most of us that had parents that cared. So what? I mean, it's okay. I think we just have to practice that feeling of saying, I'm going to reparent myself with this one issue. This causes me problems over and over and over again. Licensed psychological counselor, a really good Thoreau reader. If you're having psychiatric issues, please get help. Please get help. Psychological issues, please get help. Talk to clergy, talk to friends. But we have to be vulnerable, and we have to feel safe to be able to go into that environment. And that's the first thing, to be able to create a safe space to go into that. There are many, many different ways of doing it. One of the problems with religion is that we have been told that's the only way to reach God. It's ridiculous. You can reach God through soccer, because you feel divinity, you feel community with your fellow people. There's a lot of reasons for that. If you were raised when I was raised back in the 50s, the parenting skill was pretty harsh. That was harsh. And I don't think that all has ended. So we do have to reparent ourselves, but it has to be in a safe environment. And it takes effort. It's hard.
It's so important for people to know, especially the idea of finding spirituality in whatever your passions are, because so many people are swayed from that, or they're programmed to believe otherwise, so that they don't necessarily even feel their higher power, even though it's right there with them.
Many times I don't feel my higher power. Of course it's here. My patterns, I went through a very, very long so-called recovery process doing some binge drinking and being codependent. What an idiot. But that's where I was back then. I couldn't have done anything differently. So I developed skills that I use now. But I had the time and the energy and the effort to do it. It's a hard road. Life is hard. We are here with this huge experiment of life. And we are spiritualizing matter every time we bring that love and divinity into the material world. How do you do that? That sounds impossible. You do it by seeing, the statement, see God in everything. When we do that, that's that connection that you're talking about. I can't do it all the time. I don't think anybody can, but we think we're supposed to. You'll hear people on TV shows, the internet, espousing these wonderful methods of doing all this. They're not. They can't do it. Maybe they can hold it for 10 seconds, but they can't do it either. Don't believe it. We are all faulted, and the faultedness is what connects us. Actually, I think that we see ourselves and other people's faults. It's like watching, remember Lucille Ball? Oh my God, I loved her. She was hysterical. She was epitomizing just an airhead. I could be very much like that myself. Maybe everybody can. I don't know. But when we see, this is what ZoliArt's about. I want you to be able to see that I hope I'm giving maybe some good, is it the word advice or impressions? And I'm telling you that I can't do that all the time. I'm not going to tell you I can. That's a big fat lie. People that know me would be calling me up right and left going, boy, are you an idiot? Did you lie? And it's true. They should. I say all my friends, and this is true, these women, they're smarter than me. I'm never the smartest one in the room because I don't learn a damn thing. Now, they're not bullies about it, but they're smart. And we're smart in different ways. My thing is the human design, I'm a projector. I say I don't have original thought. It comes through me, but my free will. And this is where it gets important. Our free will. We have to make decisions and have to make a choice. And we have to get stronger. We've got to be able to get stronger and say, damn it, I'm just not doing that anymore. Whatever it is, or I'm not letting that into my life anymore. I've had enough of being bullied by that. Then you'll go through some anger, and that's a righteous anger, and you'll pass through the grieving stage of that, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of times that there are spiritual cycles working at the same time as the physical ones.
Oh, always. Oh, that's so true. It's the rays, the 7 rays. And I'm not going to get into that because I'll not tell it to you properly. But if you look at Benjamin Crimm's work or look online, there's some wonderful instructions about that. Right now, because of the so-called New Age, we are in ray 7. Ray 7 rules sexuality. Look at how those issues have been up. That ray started coming in 1675. Ray 6, the old age, Piscean age, started going out in 1625. We've been in that transition that long, but we're in it solidly now. And this ray 7 is to work in community. And we're seeking ways of doing that. It's ceremonial order. It's doing things in a group. So it's not easy. Ray 1 comes in. That's the ray of destruction. They're all present all the time, but some have the microphone when others don't. And they do. They're these great spiritual cycles, but we also have personal cycles. Look at the astrology chart. The planets come in and out. I look at astrology, and believe me, I'm not great at it, but I know enough to be dangerous. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. I'm radioactive and a lot of stuff. But I look at your astrology chart, which is 12 houses like on a clock, as a classroom. Your sun sign is your home room. you're there. Other planets come in and they teach you and talk to you. Jupiter comes in, Sagittarius, it wants to party and it's happy and it talks about higher values and this and that. Pluto comes in and boy, you're going to have volcanoes and all kind of things happen, but they happen cyclically. They happen in a cycle. That's why we say, well, it feels different now. It feels it because it is. But it's always been like that. This planet is ruled like that. I don't think that's going to change. Maybe we'll get better at not going so far one side or the other. I'll let you know.
Maybe by going within and being our own beloved, as you say so beautifully, that helps us be more in tune with the cycles and ride through it with grace, perhaps.
Yeah, that's well put. I believe that's the way of doing it. And I'm experimenting, learning more about that. The joke is many times Spirit says, Zoli, just sit on your hands. Do not just sit there. And as I do that, I gain more intuition and understanding and feeling nature. But you can't do that all the time. You got to live life. You got to get up. You have to be active. You have to be passionate. So what is it? Which is it? Well, it changes. Our skill is to learn when is it appropriate. I call it DRA, discerning right action.
Yes.
When am I supposed to be doing that? That's where your astrology chart, your numerology chart, works. There are some amazing psychic readers on Etsy, tarot readers. There's a woman named Luna, Wanda. There are so many. Nona, those are the gals that I use. And it's very expensive. Inexpensive is it's under $10. Did I lose you?
No, you're still there.
It's in low power mode. I need to plug that in. Sorry, guys. I'm being a
That's technology. Low power mode could be the motto for my life.
Let's see. We'll go as far as we can with that. But I there's all kind of help out there, and it will tell you cycles, and it will discern. This is appropriate now. This isn't appropriate now. You're going to have to wait. I depend on that. I look at my so-called astrology, numerology, tarot stuff every day. There's the runes. Those are psychological tools. If you've been taught that they are evil and satanic, then don't do them. You get the same information from your Bible. That's a great teacher. From the Upanishads, from the Manusmriti. I don't know. There's all kind of help out there. But trust that you're going to know and you're going to find it. That's what's beautiful. And there's a lightness to it.
Yes, because there's no forcing, and you'll know, like you say, you'll know exactly what's right because you can feel it.
You can feel it. There it is. There it is. Not everybody's great at intuition. Not everybody is.
How do you get better at it?
That's really hard. You have to practice, but you might not get good at it. But what you can get good at are other skills. You can get good at asking for help and feeling within yourself. You all have that ability of free will to feel within yourself, well, I really can't tell what I need to do. Ask for help. You will get better at it. You'll get better at it, and you will develop skills in that way. But it's not, even though we all have those skills, to be able to use them really well is not what everybody's born with. I wasn't born with a mind for critical thinking and physics or whatever. I'm just not like that. But there are people who are. It's very easy for them. So I can gain an understanding of it. It's a language. But what we're discussing are the inner languages. How can I trust myself more? And you can do that through faith, through meditation and prayer and service. When you pray and you are invoking help, not begging for a Maserati, but you are invoking help. You activate a part of your brain that isn't selfish. It has nothing to do with you. You activate reception from higher will and higher power. It's sacred. Everybody can do that. Everybody can. And then when you take your service out into the world, whatever you came here to do, be it high or mighty or humble or kind or whatever, you're bringing that in even more. So there's a cycle that occurs. See, meditation is we're going within, prayer is we're invoking from without, and then the service is you give it. Everything's
That's beautiful. I never thought of it that way. And it really does. You can feel it, sense the energy of it and how it's a complete circle.
It is. Too much meditation will make you batshit crazy because you've got all this energy, you're going to explode. It's like drinking a gallon of water and nobody lets you pee. Seriously, it'll make you nuts. Too much activity in the world, too much service, and you don't go within, you're just a robot. What's the balance? I don't know. I have no idea what that balance is. I'm pretty good at balancing that without knowing why, because I'm somatic. I'm very in touch with my feelings. And I may not know why. I can be furious at myself because I'm not doing enough of one or the other. Then I figure out, wait a minute, I was doing right. So there's that thing again, but not all the time.
Just that noticing. You have to catch yourself and notice it.
Oh, that noticing. Man, what would it be like to be totally aware all the time? And do not believe these internet gurus that say they are. They are full of it. You don't do that to yourself. These people, they want your attention and they want your money. They want you to follow them because they can't follow themselves. When you need to be a cult leader or a guru or an influencer, how vapid to me is that? I was taught that compliments and criticisms goes into the same receptor cells. You become so dependent on what that thinks that you should do. Now, we're all susceptible to that some. I'm certainly susceptible to that too. But you can choose to modify your life like that and go, how does that make me feel? That person looks the part. I saw one the other day. I thought he was totally full of crap, but that's just me. No names. Had the turban on, had the beard, speaking in an English Hindi accent with a guru outfit. I thought, well, he looks right, got all the parts. But everything this person was saying was something out of books from the 70s. Why does that person need that attention from you? Think about that. Find out who you are. Look in that mirror. Say, my God, give me some help here because I'm drowning in this world. We all feel like that occasionally. I certainly do. That's when I'm told to go sit on my hands. They go to sleep sometimes. Pay attention to what you're feeling and what you're getting. And there will be conflicts. It's going to hurt because life hurts. Don't believe when people say you can have a peaceful life forever if you do this or that. Why would they say that? That's not true. It's going to hurt. And we avoid that because we're people. But let's find ways of being kind. Let's figure that out. That's my new mission, my mantra these days is, am I being kind or do I need to be the Queen of Swords and really say something? And there are times that you do.
Yeah. And yet, more often than not, it's kindness wins.
Kindness should win. There's ways of saying things that are kind or waiting, considering what that person might think. What will the benefit be to that person? We can all use more of that. I can.
Yeah. And it's so inspiring to think of everybody just trying their own way to be kind and to get through this stuff.
Oh, we'll get there, and we'll get there when there's so-called more equity in the world, when everybody has enough food, shelter, clothing, and there's some peacefulness after the day of declaration. Don't expect it before, but it's coming.
Is that why it seems like it's getting worse? Because it has to ramp up to a certain degree?
I think so. We've created all this. It's not like it just happened and came out of the blue. We humans, we are one soul. There is one human soul, and we're all pieces of it. We created it. If somebody says, well, I didn't vote for that person, I didn't do this or that. Well, you're still a part of it. Come on, there's enough blame to go around, but there's also enough love and understanding to go around. I'm very frustrated with some processes, but I don't feel like I want to hate the other side. These are my brothers and sisters. They may be acting like fools, but there's times I've acted like fools. That said, what do you value? Hold on to your values, but you don't need to bully everybody into believing them. That's what our mantra should be. We don't have to do that. So we'll figure it out. But yeah, I think things are ramping up, and for the next couple of years, ramp away because it's coming. We'll get
there's
there.
So much inspiration in remembering that we don't have to hate people just because things are a little strange, that everybody, even, your enemy, is going through the same things as you are. And that really there is love all around us, enough for everybody.
It never ends. And that hate is fear. Fear is the opposite of love. I don't like it when I get into that myself. We all do. Come on, people, fess up. We all do it, but you don't have to express it. We can control what comes out of our mouth and what goes into it. And that's the important piece. That to me is choice, to control ourselves, to learn to control. And that's the emotional body. It's hard. So what?
It is. So let's try to amplify love. I might have lost you.
I think I lost you for a minute. I'll lose myself for a minute. So what the heck?
We did, but we're back. We were amplifying love, and the energy just was too much for it.
It could have. There's a little fairy that runs out of the house. I call her Tinkerbell. And she is tall. And she has this wand, and she sends little sparkles everywhere, and she irritates the hell out of me if I'm in a bad mood. I'm like, get away from me. It's all happy. And, she's just happy all the time. Luckily, she's not here all the time because she's irritating. So I'm not always in a good mood about this, but there's love there. And if I can be lighter, I'm a research analyst, I'm pretty serious minded. If I can be lighter, my liver's happier, my lower chakras will be working better. So we all have this personal stuff to work on, but I think the coolest thing is to realize that we really are here and we're going to fix this. Have hope. Don't lose the hope. Have faith that it's coming. And do what we can on a daily basis. Just keep going forward.
There's so much hope in that and comfort. Thank you, Zoli.
Thank you, Linda.
And thank you, everyone, for being with us. Until next time, take care.
Thank y'all. Be well.